First, Scott Roth, thanks for your points about uncertainty. We had real impact Southeast Texas. At one point, just several years ago, we had the need for about 10,000 welders due to refinery and chemical plant expansions. Many of those are now on hold. One of them, I think the Motiva plant, canceled their expansion due to both global factors and the concerns about some of the cap and trade legislation we were looking at. That was 1,500 construction jobs, 250 permanent jobs. And it was interesting as our local company sought to find welders for these expansions. One, the skills weren't there. And secondly, many could not pass the drug testing requirement at the outset. It was very frustrating. And these are jobs that pay between $60,000 and $80,000 above the median work scale in America. And that's one of those challenges. As the economy picks up, we hope to have that challenge going forward as well. But your point about uncertainty is real. Mr. Painter, before coming to Congress as Chamber of Commerce executive, I served on our private industry council that oversaw job training programs in the Houston region. My impressions were, one, it was very bureaucratic. We did spent a lot of time trying to, fit into the boxes of the plans. But we also had a variance of contractors, some who are extremely effective in their job training efforts in their communities, others not so much. And I want to talk to you in a minute about what those characteristics are of successful programs. Mr. Wetherington, thank you for being here. Have you hired, as an employer, have you hired a worker trained through the federal job training program?
I know I'm supposed to be here to paint the dire picture, but and we are a small company, only 80 employees, but I've hired 9%, so seven new people this year. But I do have some issues. I have open jobs that are very difficult to fill right now. So I have 3 positions that have been open for a month where my skill sets are very difficult to find in the market that I play.
Have you worked or hired through a job training program, federally funded?
I have not, no. I have hired ex-military. That tends to be a great place for me to go. I get both great skill set training as well as great work ethic.
Is this new, this inability to fill these positions? I don't know what you're looking for, but this mismatch between skills and jobs, is this something that's growing wider?
It's growing wider, but I'm not sure. It's a bit of a convergence of my jobs getting more technical. These are electrical technician positions that I need. It's an issue that BRAC is just down the street from me and is sucking up a lot of the technical capabilities that I need to have. So I think there's some microeconomic issues as well as macro.
Where do you recruit from for those positions? Region? Is it done locally for the most?
It's done locally. My plant is close to BWI up in Baltimore. So I do local recruiting, and I occasionally have to go broader.
Dr. Holzer and Mr. Painter, same question. Is the skills gap getting wider? And if so, why? I mean, it seems like the mismatch between skills and jobs today seem greater than, or at least appear to be greater than they have in the past. Is that the case, and 2, why?
Well, I'll take the first part of that, Congressman. I think in many parts of the country, as I talk to the workforce boards, I think the answer is it getting wider? I'm not sure, but I think it is this convergence of with technology, with innovation, with changing in the production processes. I think even I hear from local boards that say companies that laid off maybe 2-3 years ago and are now starting to rehire, even the jobs that they are rehiring for are different jobs. So the skill sets are changing dramatically, and I think that a lot of it is also trying to encourage people to go back and get the kinds of training. Boards, workforce boards, we support the drive for certifications and for competencies and industry-recognized certification as part of the process. So I can't tell you definitively is it getting wider. It is not uncommon for me to hear that as I travel the country.
Thank you. Doctor?
Congressman, I believe it is getting wider, and I think there's 2 reasons for that, and it parallels what Mr. Painter said. First of all, I think economy-wide, forces of new technology are raising the demand for skills in the economy skills broadly defined above the secondary level. I think the supply of skills is failing to keep up with that growing demand. And this has been true for a while for a lot of different reasons. The fraction of young people finishing some kind of not only post-secondary credential, but a relevant credential has been falling off, even though many more people are attending community college, four-year colleges, et cetera. And I think, frankly, as the baby boomers retire, that gap will grow even more, that gap between skills demand and supply. I think the other issue is that we're in an economy where the exact specific skill sets are changing very rapidly. There are these structural changes in the economy associated with the Great Recession. And I think our education and training system is not very nimble in this country. So, for instance, employers will talk about they need welders. There's tens of thousands of unemployed welders out there, but they don't have the particular kind of skill that those employers are looking for, and we don't have a very good system to help those employers retrain or retool the welders who are out there to get them to meet their specific skill needs. So I think both because of the general lack of supply keeping up with demand, as well as this specificity problem, this mismatch problem, I think it tends to be growing over time.
Thank you all very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. And Senator Klobuchar.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman Casey, and thank